Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today I have a very interesting problem for you, which is known as between the two sets. So if you go over the description of this problem statement, it's very confusing and it's a classical example of requirement not clear. But believe me guys, the only difficult part of this problem is the difficulty in understanding the requirements. Since the requirements are given in such a vague manner, it becomes very difficult for us to comprehend and write the code for it. So let me give the gist of the problem statement, and then I'll tell you what we are going to achieve and how we are going to solve this problem. So in the problem statement, it is given that there are two arrays of integer. Determine all the integer that satisfy the common two conditions. The elements of the first array, that are all the factors of the integers being considered, and the integer being considered is a factor of elements of the second array. So for example, there are two arrays, a is 2 comma 6 and b is 24 36. So there are two numbers between the arrays 6 and 12. Okay, so if I see, I divide by 2 by 6, again I'm getting 0. 6 can be divided by 6, and the 6 is 24 is divided by 6. 36 is divided by 6 is 0 for the first value, right? So basically what here we are saying that okay, that common multiple of these two numbers is 6 and 12, right? You can 2 3s are 6 and 6 2s are 12. So these are two numbers being considered. So if I take 6, I divide by if I take the number 6 and divide by 2 and 6, I get the 0. And if I take this number 6 and divide 24 and 36, then I'm able to do so. Now if I consider this thing as 12, so 12 is can be 12 is a multiple of 2, 12 is a multiple of 6, 24 is also can be divided by 12, and 36 can be divided by 12. So that means in what we can return is that there are two numbers which suffice these two conditions. Now I'm sure that you might be getting confused what's happening here. So basically just hear me out. So what the problem statement is saying that we have to find a set of numbers in such a way which those numbers are multiple of the first elements of the array 2 or 6. So for example, we can have n numbers, right? 1 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So but what we have to do is that number is a common multiple of 2 and 6. So that means what we are trying to find is that a list of numbers are provided, and we want to understand what is the least common factor. In mathematics algebraic, we have already studied about the LCM, you were right. And once those numbers are identified, what we have to do is take that number and see those numbers can divide this thing of 2 4 and 36. But the problem is that for these two arrays, if we consider numbers, the numbers sets can be too much. So what we can try is that okay, first we find an LCM of these two numbers, find a greatest common divisor of this thing, okay, and then what we have to do, our problem is solved. We can find multiples of LCM and increment the result for which multiple we are getting the common GCD as 0, right? So that will be our number. I hope I'm able to clarify you, but the things will become more clear when I will write the code. So first of all, what we have to do is we have to write, as I mentioned, the problem statement requires LCM and greatest common divisor function. So I'm writing some utility methods. Just bear with me. The code will become self-explanatory and clear to you what I'm trying to achieve. So first of all, I'll write one utility function as get GCD. So if I'm given two numbers, int x and int y, I have to find the greatest common divisor of 2. So if y equal to 0, I'll just straight away return x. Otherwise, what I'll do, I will call the same function as what I'm going to do is the number I have to find the greatest common divisor of these two numbers, right? So if you remember the mathematics, how we used to call when we were writing in the mathematics classes, right? So same thing, if you see, can be implemented. Like what I'll do, I am just writing this x mod y. This will give us the greatest common divisor. So I'm just changing, like if y somehow the position y becomes 0, just return x and keep on dividing, the pass keep on passing the remainder to find the greatest common divisor for these two numbers. Now I have to write another function which we require to find the two LCM, the least common multiple of these two numbers, right? So the mathematically function we can write in this way: public static int LCM int x int y. Okay, so what we are trying to do is find the LCM. So in that case, if both the numbers are 0, we can just return 0. Okay, otherwise what we can do is first get the greatest common divisor of the two number, okay, and then the mathematical formula for LCM is math dot absolute x star y divided by GCD. So this gives us the LCM. If you recall the mathematical algebra function, how to calculate the LCM and greatest common divisor, these two functions are just doing the same. Okay, it's pretty much simple. Now we are coming to the actual problems. So first of all, we'll just define a variable as integer result as 0 and just return it. So now the first thing is that for all these elements of A, we will find the LCM, right? So let's find the LCM. Okay, so I'm taking the first number at the 0 and just in a loop I am calling the LCM of all the numbers. So by looping I can identify the least common multiple of all the numbers which are present in the array. I hope this is clear to you, right? So now the second part will be to find the greatest common divisor of all the elements, right, of B, of this array. So utility function is already defined. What I'm going to just do a copy paste, and this is okay. So now we have, now the logic comes. What logic is that what we are going to do is, as I mentioned, so now you have LCM, you have of all the numbers. If you have all the greatest common divisor of all the elements of B, what we are going to do, we are going to increment LCM by 1. And when we are by the time this multiplication variable should be less than the greatest common divisor, and in that case, if GCD is able completely divisible by the multiple, right, there is no remainder, we'll increment the counter by RS and see that okay, there are the numbers are like 6 and 12, these numbers will be coming. So let me write the code for you, and then it will try to explain. So what I'm trying to say is that, okay, I have a multiple, I've just defined as initial, and multiple is greater than less than equal to GCD. So I'm incrementing the multiple by plus equal to LCM, right, which I had, like LCM was 2, then it will become 3, 4, 5, 6, these numbers which were identified for 2 and 6, and I increment them till the greatest common divisor of the length B is attached. And and I keep on dividing by them. If GCD is divisible by LCM plus multiple, this variable is just an LCM, and incrementing the LCM by 1 2 until the length of the greatest common divisor. I said that increment the counter R is result plus. So that will give me the number of elements which are solving these, which are sufficing these two conditions. So basically, you know, this problem requires some bit of knowledge about how the mathematical functions works, the algebra works, like how, you know, you need to know how LCM works, how you identify greater GCD, the greatest common divisor. And once you have an LCM and you have the greatest common divisor, you just play with the LCM and keep on incrementing the LCM. So that gives you a multiple of multiple, you have LCM of all the numbers. We are incrementing till the greatest common divisor to see, make sure that okay, all the elements of these two 24 and 36 are divisible by those numbers. And when I'm saying just calculate the greatest common divisor of this thing, right, so the greatest common divisor will be dividing both 24 and 36, all the numbers of the integer of array of B. Okay, so that's how this algorithm works. Let me run the code. Okay, now I am seeing a lot of okay, so first of all, this is the problem. Let me run again. Okay, so something is weird wrong here. Math.asb. Okay, it's a typo mistake at my end. Let me correct it. So okay, where is the line number 35? Okay, so this is the, so it's math.absolute. Let me run the code again. Compilation error. Okay, what's happening? Otherwise I'll have to open ID to understand. Return math.absolute. This should work. I am trying to understand what is wrong. Let me see. Yeah, it is there. Let me try to run again, otherwise I'll open the Eclipse ID to understand what is happening here. Okay, let me write this code in my separate ID to understand what is happening wrong. Okay, let me see. I have an ID here open to see what I am doing wrong, and let me try it again. Okay, so the test has passed. There might be some typo mistake which I might be doing, guys. So the code, the algorithm is clear. You can find this code in my GitHub repository and go over the code at your own pace. If you have any further question, just comment on the video and do like and subscribe my channel. Okay guys, when you subscribe my channel, you can ask me some more questions. You will get the notification when I post another video, and keep me motivated. Just you know what why I'm saying is that I like to solve these problems. If you have any more problem out of the context, like not related to the HackerRank, you can ask me and I'll try to solve that problem for you. Just subscribe my channel. You will be getting a notification as soon as click on the bell icon so that you get the notification when a new video is posted by me. Thank you guys. I'm now submitting the code so that all the test cases we can see that oh, it's passing. That you look at the description of this problem in the video, and you will be having all the solutions, the solution link as well. Thank you guys.